Hello and welcome to Collab365 GlobalCon4. My name's Paul Dredge and I'm here for the next 15 minutes to talk to you about enabling a SharePoint site as an app in Microsoft Teams. So as I said, my name's Paul Dredge. Just going to do a real quick introduction because we don't have long and we have 15 minutes to go through enabling this app within Microsoft Teams to give us access to SharePoint. So real quick introduction, I'm a senior technical consultant for a company called Hable here in the UK. I've got my email address on there, I've got my website, I've got my Twitter and my LinkedIn. So please do connect, do give me a follow. If you have any questions after this session, please do reach out to me afterwards with those questions, or if you want any more information, please do get in contact. So we're going to be looking at apps in Microsoft Teams. Just a real quick introduction to apps. As some of you I'm sure will know, you can link in third-party apps within Teams through the App Store. We can create our own custom apps within Teams, and we can also link in Power Apps, which offers us that free code way of linking in information through these apps and speeding up some of the processes we go through. Real good stuff there that we can do with these different ways of linking in apps, whether it's in a team or an app through our little icon on the left hand rail. We have the ability to do that. Today though, I'm going to be talking to you about enabling a tab application within Microsoft Teams. So tabs are team-aware web pages that we embed into Microsoft Teams. So we've seen tabs, I'm sure we've seen tabs used in Teams when we go into a team, we look at our team channel, and then we can add tabs within there. What I'm going to be showing though is how we can create an app on that left-hand rail in Microsoft Teams, which then links in a tab app on that left-hand rail, which then links into a website. So it does use iframes that we can point to different websites. But what I'm going to be doing is embedding an existing SharePoint site. So call this our intranet for our example here, but we might have a knowledge hub, we might have our team site and so on. So we have the ability to link in these through our app studio and then having that displayed within Microsoft Teams for our users. So that's enough talking, enough information through slides. Let's have a look then and dive down into how we actually do this. So if we have a look on the left hand rail then and go into our three little dots and into more apps, then we need to find the application called App Studio. So if we search for App Studio, then this is a Microsoft application that allows us to create these custom apps within Microsoft Teams. So I'm going to add that now to my app from the App Store. And you can see now that I have this shown up on the left hand side. What I'm going to do is go into Manifest Editor, because this is where we can create our app, which is what we want to do today. So I'm going to click on the Create a New App option, but we've got other options around importing it and so on this screen here. So I'm going to be creating my app from scratch. When we go into this App Creator option, you can see that we have a menu of options down the left hand side of capabilities of tab, bots, connector, messaging extensions. We have the ability to change the languages, we've got domains and permissions, and then we've got the app manifest and test. What I'm going to do though is going to fill in the details here. So we need a short name to start with. I'm just going to call it Internal Hub. So for our demo purposes today, I'm going to create an app called Internal Hub, and then for the full name, it's a bit of a longer name, so I'm just going to call it Internal Hub App. Really inventive name there. But then next option is our app ID. We just need to click on the Generate button. This generates our app ID for us. Then we need to give our package a name. You can see it's got a couple of examples in here around the package name and versions. I'm typing in Internal Hub as the package name, and then version is going to put 1.00. So here we go, first version of our app. We now have to input description, so a short description to start with, up to 80 characters or less. So I'm just going to type in if I can actually type, so Internal Hub Application. Again, inventive, and now our full description. So this helps our users when they're using the App Store within Microsoft Teams to find applications and install their applications themselves. This description will help them moving forward. Next up, we need to put in our developer information, so your company name, your name, whichever it is. So I'm just going to put Paul Dredge in here because that's me, I'm the developer, and then a website. So I'm just going to try and type, if I can, the website address for my own personal website here. If I scroll down, then we do have a Microsoft Partner Network ID. We don't have to put that part in, but we can do. And then we have our app URLs as well. So we can see I'm just going to copy and paste those in. And in typical style, I've done HTTP and not HTTPS. So let me just add those in quickly. So then it allows us to continue through my mistake there. And then if we look down at the bottom, we have our branding. So we can add in logos, full color logo, transparent logo, and our color. I'm just going to change the color just for our example so you can see how that changes. But when we add in the logos, then this is what shows up on that left navigation rail and within our app in the left top corner. So the next part we need to do now is actually start creating the content of our app. So you can see we've got tabs, bots, and so on. So we're using a tab app here, so we can add team tabs or a personal tab. For this example, I want my app to be used as a personal app on the left hand rail, so we can add in the details around this. So I'm going to put the name of my tab here, so internal hub. I need to create a unique ID for my tab here. She's just a random ID here, just putting in some numbers, and then I need to type in my content URL and my website URL. These need to come from our SharePoint site. So here we go. We've got our SharePoint site that I'm going to be using for today, the Contoso at work. So this is what we're going to have within our application. So if I copy and paste those content URLs and website URLs, then that will work for the app. But with the content URL, we need to do a little bit of work with it. And the reason behind this is because we want that single sign-on happening within our application, because otherwise it's not going to sign us in to our app. So you can see here on this notepad that I have the Microsoft guidelines around this. There is an article on the internet for this. So we need to create our content URL. So you can see at the beginning we need site URL, then /layouts 15 teams login, and so that logs us in using our credentials. Because we're accessing an internal SharePoint site here, it needs to log in as we click onto it and give us those credentials. So we just need to do a little bit of play with our web address here. So I'm just going to highlight the right parts here, if I can highlight it, and just paste these in, and we can see that now I have my web address in here, and then I just need the normal website URL. So we have our content web address and our website web address. So if I save this now, then we have our tab nicely created here within our app. So when we go into our app, it's going to display this tab. We can add multiple tabs if we want to along that top. So we don't just have to have the one tab. We can add more than one tab if we wanted to display more than one page. And if we scroll down then through our options, go into languages, then we can see the default languages picked up because this is myself logged in, English and United States. We can change the language and the region. We can import languages and so on. So we do have a big long list of different languages in here if we need to. Now for our domains and permissions, we need to set up a couple of things in here around our app ID and so on. So again, it's signing us in to our SharePoint environment. And again, I've got this copied into my notepad. So I've got my application ID. So I need to copy that. Again, this is on the Microsoft guidelines for doing this. So I will link this in on social media and so on, so people can find that information. So we're just going to paste that ID in here, and it's picking up that I've not pasted it in correctly. So let me just check. Oh, this has got a space at the end, typical. So there we go, we've got our app ID within here. Let me just copy and paste it again so we don't have any errors with that, and paste it in again just to make sure I copied and pasted it correctly. There we go, no error message this time. So you can see we've got that app ID in here. And then we can add in other options if we want to, if we needed to, around the permissions for support and so on. But for this example, we don't need to. And this is our app manifest. So this is what it actually creates in the background of what we've just done through the UI. But now we're going to look at, test and distribute our app. So I'm going to download a copy of my application, so my internal hub.zip, so I can go into the admin panel with Teams and deploy this. I can also publish that app, so it's going to publish it for people to download within my organization. So I can publish an app, so it just goes into the catalog, so people can go into the app catalog in Microsoft Teams and install it themselves. But I want to deploy this to all my users. If we go to the install option as well, you can see it says I need permissions to do this. That is usual default there for trying to install it ourselves. So now let's jump across then to our Microsoft Teams Admin Center. So going into the 365 Admin Center, we're going to click on Show All, and we're going to go into that Teams Admin Center. And the reason for doing this is because I actually want to force this app out to my users across my organization. It's going to be really useful for them to get access to our app rather than relying on them to install it themselves. So if I go into my Teams apps and manage apps, then from within here, I should be able to add my app once it loads in. There we go, we've loaded in. So I can upload that downloaded zip file that I just had. If I go into my downloads, there we go, we've got our internal hub application, and I'm going to open that up, and it's going to now import that into Microsoft Teams Admin Center. So now that's adding this app into my list of apps. If I do a quick search, there we go, we have our internal hub published by me, it's published and people are allowed to use it. Next up, I want to deploy the app now to my users. So that's put it into our apps. This example, I'm going to go for global deployment here. So it's going to go to everyone across my organization. We can change that if we wanted to and create our own setup policies for different groups of users. But for this example, I'm going to be deploying this to all my users across my organization. So if I add that in now, and I want it to be pinned as well to the left-hand side. So it'll install the app, and then it will also pin it to that left-hand navigation rail within Microsoft Teams. If I just hit the save button, then that's going to save our app now to be deployed and also to pin it. We can see there it goes, successfully updated. So if we look in Teams now and I go into my apps, we can see now I have that new app, the internal hub. If I click onto the internal hub, then hopefully it will load. There we go, a bit slow at loading, but our SharePoint page now is accessible within Microsoft Teams. So I've not had to leave the Teams application. I can access this within Teams, which is now enabling my users to find this information without having to come out of the Teams application. Really, really useful way of displaying information to our users without them having to leave Teams. So Teams is that workday hub that they're using day in, day out, but now they don't have to leave. And as we can see, that this is the exact same site as we have within our Teams application now. So we don't have to go off to SharePoint and look elsewhere for this information. We just click on our app on the left-hand nav rail. One thing I will mention though is that if you do have links like this, we can see here when I've clicked on a link, it's opened in a new page and so on, because I am using this as an example. So we need to make sure that when we do click onto these items, they are loading within our Teams application. So thank you very much for tuning in. Again, please do reach out and connect with, I've got my social media tags and such up on the screen now. If you do want to get in contact about the guide that I did mention the Microsoft guide, then please do reach out and I can point you in the direction of it, because I know some of the things I've gone through there maybe a bit too quick on some of them, just because I'm trying to cram this into this nice turbo 15-minute session on how to do this. I hope you can see the advantages here, because what we're doing here is using Teams as our workday hub. We're making sure our users are staying in Microsoft Teams. They're not navigating away from Teams. They're staying in Teams, but they can still access that information. So my users across my organization now don't have to go off into Office.com, SharePoint, find that information. They can go into Teams, left-hand navigation rail, click into their app. All the information is presented to them in there. But I just want to say thank you very much for attending my session at Global Collab365 here. If you do want to purchase an all-access pass, if you want to come back and watch this on demand, then please do. Please do that. Thank you very much for tuning in, and enjoy the rest of today. There's some great other presentations happening, but thank you very much for tuning in for mine today. Goodbye.